Stephen Fry, general all-round good guy, intelligent, funny, and has a very wonky nose. Seriously, check it out, it's proper wonky. Noted for his intelligence, remember for being one half of Fry and Laurie, he of house fame, former question master on the quiz show QI, which if you're not an incumbent of the United Kingdom will mean absolutely nothing to you. But to everyone else who does know of him, he's a thoroughly learned chap, has a few personal problems and appears to be getting through them and is moving onwards and upwards. So colour me surprised to learn that the Irish police are currently investigating him for something he said way back in 2015. Fry was being interviewed by Gay Byrne for the Irish programme The Meaning of Life back in February 2015, and Byrne asked Fry lots of things, but the answer to one question seems to provoke the ire of one person enough to complain. Here is the video clip of what Fry said, and the complaint pretty much covers virtually everything Fry responded with.
Suppose what Oscar believed in as he died, in spite of your protestations, suppose it's all true, and you walk up to the pearly gates and you are confronted by God. What will Stephen Fry say to him, her, or it?
I will basically, what's known as theodicy, I think. I'll say bone cancer in children. What's that about? How dare you? How dare you create a world in which there is such misery that is not our fault? It's not right. It's utterly, utterly evil. Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? That's what I'd say.
And you think you're going to get in
on
that?
No, but I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to get in on his terms. They're wrong. Now, if I died and it was Pluto, Hades, and if it was the 12 Greek gods, then I would have more truck with it, because the Greeks they didn't pretend not to be human in their appetites and in their capriciousness and in their unreasonableness. They didn't present themselves as being all-seeing, all-wise, all-kind, all-beneficent, because the God who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac, utter maniac, totally selfish. We have to spend our life on our knees thanking him? What kind of God would do that? Yes, the world is very splendid, but it also has in it insects whose whole life cycle is to burrow into the eyes of children and make them blind. They eat outwards from the eyes. Why? Why did you do that to us? You could easily have made a creation in which that didn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. So, atheism isn't not just about not believing there's a God, but on the assumption that there is one. What kind of God is he? It's perfectly apparent that he is monstrous, utterly monstrous, and deserves no respect whatsoever. The moment you banish him, your life becomes simpler, purer, cleaner, more worth living, in my opinion.
That sure is the longest answer to that question that I ever got in this entire series.
Now you might be wondering why anyone would complain against this video. Fry is simply expressing his opinion to a given question. Most fair-minded people, whether they were religious or not, would simply shrug their shoulders and either agree with him, disagree with him, or be largely indifferent, because after all, this isn't the Middle East. But would it surprise you to know that the Irish police are looking into whether or not Fry has committed blasphemy? You heard me right, and no, this programme wasn't recorded in Iran or Saudi Arabia, those hotbeds of tolerance when it comes to religion. It is recorded in Ireland. It didn't even occur to me that Ireland still had blasphemy laws in place, but yes, under the revised Defamation Act 2009, blasphemy is still covered, and it says, "Anyone who publishes or utters blasphemous matter shall be guilty of an offence and liable to a fine of up to €25,000. Blasphemous matter is material that is grossly abusive or insulting about beliefs held sacred by any religion, and which causes outrage among a substantial number of the adherents of that religion, where the defendant intends to cause such outrage." It does, however, offer a get-out clause in certain circumstances, and that is, it is a defence to prove that a reasonable person would find genuine literary, artistic, political, scientific or academic value in the matter to which the offence relates. Now, I'm not entirely sure how that could be a defence for Stephen Fry, because nowhere in that defence clause does it cover a sincerely held belief, i.e. a personal opinion. I think what concerns me more is that the original Defamation Act dates back to 1961 since its last revision, was revised in 2009, and yet still contains blasphemy as one of its components. I'm slightly heartened, however, that Ireland being a pretty religious country, only one person in a population of nearly 5 million sought to complain about it, and quite some time after the offence was committed. I can only hope that the actions of the person that reported it was some kind of protest at the absurdity of the blasphemy component of the Defamation Act, that this one was a fairly high-profile way to highlight it. I have my doubts, however. The person reported it called it their civic duty. Any thoughts on him or her being sarcastic? We can but hope. I was right about that nose. Just look at it. Absolute wonk fest. Please dislike if you really want to. Make a comment, don't make a comment, but I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. It makes all this stuff kind of worthwhile. Bye now.